Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the MLG Starcraft 2 stage. We don't like to keep you waiting here, but as our two players are preparing for what could very well be the battle of their lives, we would of course like to hear the thoughts of both of them. My name is Total Biscuit, joined by some guy. You might know him. Hi
guys, I'm some guy. I'm very excited for the upcoming match. It's going to be Naniwa versus Polt in semifinal number 1, an extended series, with Polt beginning the lead 2-0. We're going to be having an interview starting things off. Axel Toss, tell us some of the thoughts that Polt's having before this big match.
Thank you, Day 9 and Total Biscuit. I'm super excited for this match between Polt and Naniwa. Are you guys excited? So Polt, my first question for you is, you've had a night to kind of get some sleep, kind of prepare for today. This is going to be your first match of the day. How was your night? How did you sleep? How are you feeling coming into Championship Sunday?
I slept great, and I actually totally didn't expect Naniwa. I will play Naniwa, but I watched the games, today's his games, and he's very played well. So I think I have to do my best.
So why did you not? So why did you not necessarily expect Naniwa to advance? Was it because of his playstyle, or is it because of the players he was playing against and you expecting them to move on?
I thought Naniwa can defeat that Jaedong, because Jaedong is not good at CVP, but in the Pro League, there are many Protoss players and there are so many PvPs, so I thought Deer should be fine with PvP, but oh, Naniwa is such a great player.
Well said. So you've been living in the United States for a while, and we saw a sign right there that says USA, USA. You know, how do you kind of feel about that? How do you feel about potentially representing, being that I guess, American hope in this tournament?
Many people say that Koreans are imba, but I wanted to show that even though I'm not living in Korea, and even though I'm not practiced with the Korean teams, but I can do it, and every foreign player can do it. I wanted to show that I'm really showing that now.
So you're going to be facing off against Naniwa. You're going to be starting off up 2-0 in this extended series. What are your thoughts going into this match? How confident are you that you can take down Naniwa and advance to the final of the MLG Spring Championship?
I am so much confident now, and you will see. I will show everything in the games.
Let's give it up one more time for Polt. Coming up next, it's going to be Polt versus Naniwa in the first semifinal of the MLG Spring Championship. Day 9 and Total Biscuit, back to you.
Thank you so much, Axel Toss. You know, I love that statement from Polt. He wants to show that all the foreign players, they can do it too. That's such a good attitude. I mean, it's so easy to say something like, you know, well, I'm not practicing with people who will give me the best environment. There's all these other extenuating circumstances. No, Polt not even going to consider that, just saying, I can do this. I believe in myself.
Well, once his career as a pro gamer is over, he can be a motivational speaker. Quite frankly, he'll be doing a very good job of it. He just is impossible not to like.
Yeah. Great attitude, and of course, amazing TVP.
Yeah.
I feel like all the recent changes for Heart of the Swarm have really tuned very, very nicely to his style, which is a lot of drops, a lot of mid-game aggression. The two big mid-game threats, the Hellbats and the Medevacs, are going to be the big threat that Naniwa needs to deal with, but Naniwa seems to have answers in all the matchups. Of all players here, I think that Naniwa absolutely can take the series 4-0 in this extended series to defeat Polt, but it's certainly going to be a challenge.
Yeah, it's an uphill battle in the most extreme of ways.
Yeah.
We have seen it happen at MLG. When it does, things do tend to go a little bit crazy. Naniwa, as you said, is more than capable of doing it. Let's find out how. He's on stage with Axel Toss. Take it away.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with our other semifinalist, Naniwa from Team Alliance. You came into today having a pretty rough road ahead of you, you know, having to play Jaedong, having to play, of course, your other opponent, Deer. And now you're going to be facing off against Polt. You talked a little bit about your expectations coming into today. Are you more confident now that you've had such good results today?
No, if I played a Zerg or a Protoss, I think I could win, no matter who it is, but I'm doing really bad in practice against Terran. And I lost to Polt 2-0, so I have to win 4 games in a row. So I don't think my chances are very high, but we'll see.
It sounds like the crowd is definitely on your side, or at least a lot of them are cheering for you, I'm sure. Now, does playing in front of such a large crowd, does that help motivate you? Does that add a bit of pressure? What are your thoughts on that?
Usually I like it, but I lost the Polt 2-0 and they all cheered, so I don't really think they're on my side, so I don't really care.
Do we have any Naniwa fans in the house? To me, it seems like you have a lot of support, Naniwa. Now, again, as we said, you were starting off 0-2. Can you talk a little bit more about your thoughts, you know, leading into this, being 0-2, how much more does that add? Is it more of a no pressure situation as far as no expectations kind of a thing, or does it add a little bit more pressure?
Well, I already said that I expect to lose against Jaedong, so I don't really know what to think anymore. Like, I won against Jaedong, and then I expected to lose against Deer, and I won again. So I guess I should expect to lose again, right? I don't know. To be honest, even like going into a best of 3 against Polt, I was not having so much confidence. Like, my PvT is really bad, so I don't expect anything, seriously.
Before we get into this next match, do you have any specific words for Polt before this gets started?
I didn't speak to him for like a year, and then he gives me a thumbs down, so I'm wondering why he's such a bitch.
All right, guys, the stage has been set. Semi-final number 1, Polt versus Naniwa coming up. Day 9 and Total Biscuit, back to you.
Oh my God, Total Biscuit. I'm so excited to be here.
This will be on the front page of TMZ.com any moment.
One pro gamer questions another player. Why being a bitch? This is going to be amazing. Beginning on Neo Planet S. Oh, I mean, a stunning display of confidence from Polt.
Yep.
A stunning lack of confidence from an incredible player, Naniwa.
That's pretty standard, honestly, from him. He's been like this entire tournament.
Yeah.
We talked earlier, actually, before his last match, that he wasn't even considering coming to this tournament because he didn't believe he was prepared enough to do it. And then he shows up and wrecks everything within his path, stumbling only at Polt, who is quite the hurdle, and now an even higher one that he somehow has to get across. An extended series, 2-0 down already. He has to win 4 games. Polt only has to win 2. It is not impossible. We have seen it time and time again. We've seen many players rise to the occasion. In fact, I would say in extended series, more often than not, we see the player rise to the occasion from his disadvantaged position and win, as opposed to a straight sweep for the guy with the advantage.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those initial game wins can begin to mean a lot in terms of momentum. I mean, if you're Naniwa and you tie the series up 2-2, suddenly going into that game number 5, it's not just on an even footing.
No,
you have a lot of momentum behind you, pulling back, and no matter how much doubt Naniwa has, there is no doubt in everyone's mind.
Yeah, absolutely true.
My goodness.
Let's just say bad blood may be spilled here on Neo Planet S.
Down in the bottom left-hand corner. Love him, hate him, no matter what his level of confidence, he always shows amazing play and always proves that foreigners can go deep in any tournament. from Team Alliance. Give a cheer for Naniwa!
Versus his opponents. Might be all smiles, but when he's in the booth, he is a stone-cold killer. Already starting 2 maps up in this extended series to the northeast position. In the blue trunks, playing Terran, sponsored by Cooler Master Storm. His name is Polt.
Polt slowly becoming one of the most famous American players in this tournament.
Well, we needed someone to replace Stefano, right? I'll be here all week, folks. Try the build.
Oh, that was really, really funny.
Do you need a moment?
No, I feel fantastic. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the opening we're seeing out of Polt right now. Just going for 1 gate, no gas. I mean, that does leave a couple of big possibilities. He could go late gas, he could go early expand, but on this map, this is one where we're seeing Terran players very regularly get that quick gas because the distances are so close. We saw Naniwa do a really clever Immortal push in their first meetup, but this is a map where it's going to be a lot stronger to do that identical play.
Yeah, certainly. This is known as an aggressive map, and that's because more often than not it tends to end on 2 or 3 bases, and it tends to be aggression right out of the gate. Some interesting stuff already going on with that lack of gas, and also interesting pylon position here for Naniwa, directly behind his own natural expansion.
Very smart. Now, in general, placing pylons behind bases is better than placing in front because you have a protected warp in. You can warp in back there and not run the risk of the pylon being picked off, but most players put it on the high ground so that you can warp in on the low ground. This is a great way to freak Polt out. Look at this. Polt is going to scout. He's going to be saying, wait a minute.
Where's your pylon?
There's 1 pylon in your main base. I mean, Naniwa's not doing anything really shocking, but this is going to trick Polt into thinking that something terrifying is coming up. There he is. He's counting. There's pylon 1. And he's going to begin moving. At least he should begin moving around, going, where's pylon 2? Where's pylon 2?
Yeah, he's looking for it right now, and he has no idea where it is. That is going to put him in a really awkward spot because he's saying, oh no, I have to deal with the possibility that there will be aggression. A couple of slices coming in from the cellar. It is not going to see that pylon, so he's thinking to himself, was it a mistake to go with the gasless? He's looking for it.
He's looking for that proxy Stargate. He doesn't see it. Clear angst coming from Polt, who's going to be throwing down 2 barracks very shortly. Naniwa looks like he's going for a very standard expand, and this moment is going to make Polt feel very, very happy.
Yeah, he's going to see that go down. It's like, okay, all right, well, it was just a cute little fake out. I don't really have to worry about anything coming out from my opponent for quite some time. Sentries coming down, defensive play here. A couple more barracks being added on for Polt, as you would expect here. So far, so standard. Still no gas, actually, for Polt on 26 supply. So he's going as deep as he can here on minerals only.
Now, for any of you who have never seen the MLG Extended Series format, here's how it works. Normally, when players meet, it's a regular best of 3. But if they play again in the lower bracket, having played in the winner's bracket, rather than just play a regular old best of 3, they play a best of 7 beginning from the previous results. So now we see Polt leading 2-0, not because he's played 2 games against Naniwa today, but because when they met in the winner's bracket yesterday, Polt won 2-0. So now Naniwa has to win an uphill battle to come back.
It's a difficult thing indeed, and it's going to be so psychologically devastating to go into a match and know you've got to win 4, but the other guy's got to win 2, and he starts with that advantage from the get-go.
Yeah, very difficult to break that momentum. Oh, we see Twilight Council coming out. Again, most players are going the passive route in this matchup. They're saying, okay, let me get my forges up, let me get my upgrades out, let me begin getting the Colossus, the Templar, this sort of thing. Let me get my double gas at 6 minutes, but no, it looks like Naniwa's actually opening up with a Warp Prism. Going to be doing some Warp Prism harass, even though he has 3 sentries down. I wouldn't be surprised to see them get loaded up.
Yeah, we might very well see that. There's all sorts of possibilities. If you take 3 sentries, generally speaking, you might want to be going for the mineral line. You'll be able to stop those SCVs from escaping. You'll be able to eliminate them with Zealots. But if he decides to maybe throw some Stalkers in there, he might decide to attack the natural while force fielding the ramp to prevent reinforcements from coming down. There's a lot of possibilities, and they may indeed include a Dark Shrine.
Dark Shrine coming up. This is a cool play from Naniwa. He's going to be bringing all his sentries over to deal a little bit of damage. He's going to be trying to throw down the force fields to trap SCVs. This is going to make Polt think that Naniwa is going for a Robo or Immortal play. And there's Polt who's going to spot it straight out.
Yeah, it was there for a fraction of a second. I have to wonder if he saw it. There was a possibility he didn't. And there we go. There's a force field down the ramp. There's too many Marines, though. This is clearly not going to work, so he's going to have to pull out almost immediately.
But of course, you're going to be making a lot of really wrong assumptions as Polt. You're going to be thinking that your player is doing something like Mass Warp Gate, that he was trying to do a warp and cheese in your main base. So you are not going to be building those turrets in your main mineral lines.
No. Nice little move there by Naniwa just to weaken that supply depot, taking every little edge he possibly can, and he's certainly going to need to. A bit of indecision there from Polt, who decided, you know what, 2 barracks? No, actually, let's expand. That sounds like a good idea right now. I feel that my opponent is playing passively, and of course, he's not entirely correct. The Dark Shrine's just warped in, so things are about to get interesting. Couple of DTs, in fact, those are Zealots. Oh, DTs, there we go.
Well, he's going to send one in the front, drop one in the main.
Yeah, let's see what he can do with it. All right, just a single one, decides not to commit the sentries in there.
Instantly picks off the one in the main, but there's another one at the natural expansion.
Yep.
Polt.
Well, he's going to have to pull everything from his mineral line to try and get away from that, so that's already been a fairly effective harass. There's no scan available at that point, takes down another SCV. Now, where does he decide to go with that DT? He would love to try and nestle it away so it's more difficult to scan, but that's probably not going to happen. He is delaying mining significantly here.
Yeah, 50 probes to 42 SCVs. Another warping in the main base. A scan picks off the one at the natural expansion. Looks like a couple turrets are under fire, and the Expo play has been delayed. At this point in time, if you're Polt, you're not really concerned about having fallen too far behind, but you're annoyed that your expansion's getting delayed. This is the moment when Terran should be out at the Protoss' side of things, trying to deal damage over there.
Yeah, and he's being forced to use scan after scan, which is very nice. Note the lack of energy there. He'll be able to scan another 8 or so seconds. He'll lose a supply depot and another SCV in that time. He's not going to be able to finish that command center just yet, which is excellent play here from Naniwa. Now that's going to get shut down by that scan, but this harassment has already been effective.
So important not to be overreactive as Polt in this position.
Kind of surprised they decided to scan there, considering the turret had just finished.
Yeah, I think he just didn't want to wait, or maybe he just knew that he was definitely not in range at that point in time. So, still, Polt making his first forays out, and it looks like it's going to be a triple medevac drop. Viking kind of patrolling up at the north side, Blink coming up. Kind of a cool transition from Naniwa to open DT, but not really commit aggressively to it, just chilling comfortably. Going Blink Stalker Colossus, very defensive play.
Polt moving to deny what he thinks is the third base, and of course you would be correct in that assumption. There's nothing really to stop that from happening, so that will be a cancel almost certainly. Something we talked about in the previous match, Sound versus Hero, where a lot of Protoss players are trying to grab that third just because what's the worst that could happen? They have to cancel it, no biggie. As it stands, I believe Naniwa did spot that coming in. He will have to cancel regardless, but he may be able to get a couple of shots off. Seems unlikely. Polt just kind of stimming towards the ramp here. Naniwa backing off. He does have those Colossus in play, but no extended thermal lance, so it'll be a little bit difficult to engage that force.
Yeah, right now Naniwa is very carefully not doing that many warp-ins. He's trying to make sure that he doesn't overproduce Stalkers and doesn't expend all the money that he really wants to be placing on his expansion. Right now he has a Zealot comfortably protecting the third base location of Polt, so Naniwa sort of knows, yeah, I'm not behind economically. I'm in no hurry right now.
Well, we'll see if this Zealot can actually get in the way. It's currently not where it needs to be, but Naniwa will probably realize that and sit under it. Just to delay it a little bit. Polt already realizes, oh, that's a possibility. Maybe he's got something there. Naniwa's going to let it go down. It wasn't going to make a difference anyway. It's already dead, so there we go. War Prism off to the corner there with another Dark Templar looking to get some harassment going in. A missile turret already going down on the mineral line to try and prevent that from happening.
Uh-oh, it looks like Polt, though, queued it up, so it's not going to be placed down for a little bit of time.
Oh.
In this position, Polt is beginning to go into his big mid-game modes. 3 of those barracks with Tech Labs to be able to make Marauders 3 at a time, 2 Starports to make Vikings 2 at a time, and of course, Hellbats. No Ghost going to be coming up anytime soon, just doesn't have the gas. Scan takes out the DT, but
3 kills on that one, so taking it up to a total of 12 workers killed. Not too bad. The War Prism now spotted, but with the increased speed, it will be able to get out of there and not get shut down.
You know, this is kind of a funky game. Both players playing pretty passively for the most part. Pretty common to see as Protoss, but not common at all to see as Terran. Polt really needs to begin getting up those extra geysers. He's throwing down those extra barracks. The production has been a little bit behind for Polt most of the game. Only 12 Marauders out at this point in time. 10 gates, it looks like, out for Naniwa right now. No, excuse me, 8. I can't count properly. But 2-2 upgrades are done, far ahead of Polt.
The question is, can he make anything happen with it? He does have this opportunity where the 2-2-1 hasn't kicked in, where the Hellbat numbers aren't so absurdly large. I am concerned that the Zealot count is getting a little bit high, and the investment, of course, in charge will be hard counted by a large enough number of Hellbats. The question is, will he be able to get that many up? Because Naniwa is posturing on the map here.
Oh, this is a cool play by Polt. This is one thing that's really cool about Neoplanet S. It's a big ring in terms of shape, so
You can go around both sides, draw your opponent's army out of position.
And there it is, Polt moving down the bottom right. Looks like there's some nice spotters there. But Naniwa picks off a Hellbat, picks off a Marine, couple of free units. Really, really efficient engagement and just trying to bait out a stim. And it looks like there's the scan. He sees all the Colossus. He's like, I'm not going to be running into that. And at the same time, Polt begins to try to strike down at the bottom right side.
All right, well, let's see what he can do with it. There's the stim forward trying to go in already. In comes that Colossus, is actually out of place. And then we've got the engagement on the natural as well. Large amounts of units. The main force going in there. Quick blink underneath the Vikings. Takes down one. Looks to take down the second. The third base is under fire right now. Where's the defense? He needs to bring units there immediately. Recall to the third base. Oh, it's... No!
He gets it down.
Not quite quick enough. Great reaction time, but recall does take time. Oh, if only that were a fraction of a second earlier. What a great move by Polt.
Seriously, ninja play by Naniwa to warp back so quickly in this position. He should not wait for Storm. He is just going to make Archons and go. He has 2 more Archons. He's getting ready for the large engagement. He did manage to pick off a pretty significant number of units, so Polt's realizing, uh-oh, maybe I overextended. Pylons peppering up the front line, heading towards front base of Polt.
It's going to be a difficult fight regardless. There's a lot of Hellbats there. Those Zealots are going to struggle. The Colossus at the back will certainly help. He may have to take this fight slowly, not just directly engage. That's what he's doing. Stalkers at the front, they're blinking back. There's a big stim baited with only 3 medevacs in place. So that's already quite nice for Naniwa. The upgrade advantage for Naniwa has dissolved now. That isn't there. He's going to have to fight toe-to-toe. He wants to get a good engagement, wants to pick those Hellbats off at the front before the charge goes in. Archon's now moving into position to go for it. There's the blink from the side here.
Oh my God, the surround from Naniwa is unbelievable, ripping apart the front line of Polt's units. The Colossus count is getting lower and lower, but does it even matter? Naniwa has torn down the front line. The 3rd expansion is in shambles. The natural expansion's in shambles. Polt has almost no way to hold this off.
What a brilliant engagement there from Naniwa. Absolutely phenomenal positioning. Taking down the Hellbats before engaging directly with the Zealots. Coming around at exactly the right angle. Using the Stalkers off to the side to pick the Vikings up. Allowing the Colossus to stay alive a little longer. It's a killing ground right now at the 3rd base.
What a play from Naniwa, who has resecured his 3rd. Who has Zealots, observers checking the bottom right to make sure that that 3rd stays alive. And since he knows it's safe, he is going to engage the front. Polt is trying to micro as best he can. Those 3/3 and +2 armor upgrades are coming for Polt, but they will not be done in time. Polt, with some excellent positioning, exploits the fact that those are melee units. Look at the supply depot positioning from Polt. He can lift them up at any point in time and zone all of those melee units.
Templar coming in right now. Storm starts, but he's going to go Archons. He's already got 3. He's about to have 6. That is a massive battering ram that he can throw at his opponent.
Another stim baited out there. Has to be so careful that he doesn't encounter time or...
Can he get a second one? He gets a second one. He's trying to catch up. The charging Zealots are about to engage. Force fields come down, split the force in half as well. Naniwa with so many Archons. Vikings firing from the high ground to hold it off, and so far Polt is able to do that, but for how long? 3 bases versus 2. Colossus count starting to increase again. Storm is there, and I believe, yes, Naniwa decided not to morph all of his Templar into Archons because he knew he could build energy for the storm that was coming later.
Single Zealot actually getting dropped up at the right side. Not going to be a dramatic engagement there, but still. Just trying to continue to use that War Prism that's been there all game long, trying to make sure Polt stays a little bit pulled back with some of his units as the huge engagement moves up. Look at that, 1 Zealot was enough to distract him. SCVs!
Oh, the SCVs are going to get massacred as they make their way through there. They will not live to see another day. A storm goes down, and there's plenty of Archons and a lot of Zealots engaging right here. Polt does not have enough to hold this 3rd base. There is no chance. His back is against the wall right now.
The Templar are starting to move out with the storms. hitting a lot of those units. Ghoster there, it doesn't even matter. 150 to supply to virtually nil. Naniwa is absolutely wrecking Polt in game 1 of this extended series.
Demolition right here from Naniwa as Polt tries his best to hold on with what he's got left. There's no way he has enough to make that happen. Not even a man as determined as Polt.
GG!
Naniwa begins this long road to the comeback.
I mean, Naniwa has seemed to have a kind of big surge in his play, his confidence today. 2-0 Jaedong, 2-0 Deer. Now has won a game against Polt. It is an extended series. He has to get to 4 games to win, as does Polt. But still, if you've won 5 games in a row, you're going to be feeling fantastic.
Things are starting to get very interesting. And you know what? There's one thing we haven't quite pointed out yet. Watching this extended series, this may very well be the first time that some of those maps that the players are more uncomfortable on are introduced into this series.
Yeah, I mean, like, we haven't really even seen Frost on this map.
We've seen Derelict Watcher maybe once, twice on the main stage, if that.
And for the first time, we're going to get the chance to see Core Hall Sky Island.
Oh, this map is insanity.
It's a really beautiful map. Very excited to see it get underway. Stay tuned because we come back